Well, hello, and welcome to the PJH Writing Command Center for another podcast episode from God Bless the Cake Publishing, LLC. Let's get the weekend party started here. And I am Paul John Hausleben of God Bless the Cake Publishing, LLC. I am the flagship author, chief photographer, music reviewer, music critic, do-everything guy here at God Bless the Cake Publishing, LLC. With a little help from my friends, and the friends are gathered here today, and we're very excited. It is a lovely day here. Wow. Beautiful in Central Virginia. I am recording this on a Saturday. Let me lean back here to the little weather station guy we have here at the Writing Command Center. You know, in this little space here, the Writing Command Center, it's just a tiny little space, really. I'd say 3 by 5 maybe. And we have so much fun here and create so many things. I think back, I'm waxing nostalgic as of late. I think when you get older, you kind of get into the nostalgia more and more, and I'm always nostalgic. But at any rate, you know, what I've created in this little space with the help of a lot of friends, these friends, you know, and other friends like the great Frankie T and Jeff, the musical wizard, and a lot of other folks, Callie Rose and Amber, and all the folks over the years that have come by the Writing Command Center for us to create things. It's just magical. You don't need a lot of space, folks. You don't need a lot of space. But anyway, let me lean back here. We've got 87 degrees and only 23% humidity. Wow. I don't mind the heat. It's the humidity that gets Paulie. But what a lovely day. A gentle breeze here. It's just gorgeous. And I know that heat and humidity and those mosquitoes are warming up. But at any rate, if you're a first-time tuner-inner, well, then welcome. If you're a long-time listener, a subscriber, then welcome back. Either way, we're absolutely thrilled you're here to join us for this podcast episode. And I'm going to get into a lot of things New Jersey today. And if the accent is tuned up even more, that's just because I have just returned from the homeland. This past week, I spent, I'm going to say, if I round it off with the train and everything, 5 days in the homeland in Jersey, visiting my family and spending some family time. I wish it could have been a little better circumstances. My dear mom not feeling too swift, so appreciate any prayers and thoughts for dear mom. So we got home and celebrated Mother's Day, and that's a fantastic thing. So yeah, absolutely fantastic thing. Honoring all the mothers. I'm sorry I didn't do a special holiday Mother's Day podcast because I was away from the microphone. So shout out to all the mothers. But before we get too deep into the meat and potatoes and the gravy, let me rattle some pages here and get some of this business done here. And get your little orphan Annie decoder pins out. This podcast is proudly sponsored by Corporate Facilities Group Incorporated, the leader in technical consulting, facilities maintenance, facilities management, and operations, as well as property maintenance and management services throughout America. And now, CFG Incorporated is proud to announce a new department, a new initiative headed up by the amazing Mr. Steve McMillan. Let's give it up for old Steve Aruski. Great guy, great red hair, too. Steve brings as many years of experience as he manages pre-construction services and estimating for residential development, residential renovations, and light commercial projects for CFG Incorporated. So, before you spend big bucks on a project, let old Steve Aruski check out the contractor scope and price and make sure your hard-earned money is going in exactly the right place. Don't get snookered. Please don't get snookered out there. There's a lot of schnookering going on. Check them out on the web at www.corporatefacilitiesgroup1.com. That's www.corporatefacilitiesgroup1.com. And many thanks to Lydia, Steve, Liliana, Summer the dog, and Smokey the kitty cat for sponsoring the podcast down there in beautiful Marietta, Georgia. Thank you so much. We love these guys down there. And I hope to, I got a little bit of the traveling bug bit me again, so I would love to get down here to Marietta and check out the square and bring the camera and take some fantastic photographs. Wow, beautiful place. Beautiful Georgia oaks. Fabulous. I can't even imagine how old those trees are. Just gorgeous. So once again, many thanks to the great people at CFG. And we have some one announcement here. I'm sticking with this through the month of May. I apologize to folks that might have sent me some things while I was away for goodwill, charity, not-for-profit events and such that they would like Paulie to mention here on a podcast. But being away for a few days, you would think I was gone for 2 months. Everything just got not into shambles, but just, my goodness, to catch up. But during the month of May, it is Military Appreciation Month, a special time for those in and out of the military. It's a time designated to honor and recognize the contribution, sacrifice, and service of the members of the armed forces, past and present. So during the month of May, I would like to promote one of Paulie's favorite organizations, as well as God Bless the Keg Publishing's, one of their favorite organizations, the Wounded Warrior Project. It is the nation's leading veteran service organization dedicated to improving the total well-being of post-9/11 wounded, ill, and injured veterans, service members, and their families. Our innovative programs and life-changing services of the Wounded Warrior Project strengthen mental, physical, emotional, and financial wellness, empowering warriors and their loved ones to thrive while also preventing veteran suicide. Check them out on the web at www.woundedwarriorproject.org. And during the month of May, any royalties, any proceeds from my paperback book, Flying, which is about a World War II veteran, fiction based upon maybe a little nonfiction, all the proceeds, royalties go to the Wounded Warrior Project. So we love that. Support the great organization there during the month of May of 2026, Military Appreciation Month. So as I mentioned, I just returned from this trip back home, and home now is not Paterson, New Jersey. It is Hamilton, New Jersey, in the southern part of the state, and it's a lovely little town. I just have fallen in love with Hamilton, New Jersey, and shout out to them. And a train station, I take the Amtrak out of Central Virginia, and I ride up, and I connect at 30th Street Station in Philly, and then it's a short little jaunt on New Jersey Transit right across on the Atlantic City line, and Hamilton's one of the stops there. And fantastic. I get off at the train station there, and I can walk to the Hamilton Bar and Grill. I call it the old man's bar. And I guess I'm an old man, so I always tell my sister, you can pick me up over there at the old man's bar. And I walked over there. My sister picked me up. She had a beer with me too. So fantastic stuff. So it was really good to be home. And so I got revitalized with New Jersey stuff. And this podcast is going to be a rated series on Paulie's 5 best places to visit in New Jersey. And these are my own selections, places I've been to that are my own favorite places, essential places to visit in the great state of New Jersey. And but before I get going, like I said, I was catching up on a lot of emails, and a couple podcasts ago, I had a little rant. Well, not a little rant, probably a big rant about streaming services and sports and season overlapping and all that crazy stuff. And I received an email here from a listener of that podcast. And at first, I'm not going to read it verbatim, but I have it in my head. So they were very, at first, kind of like, Paulie's on a rant about something or other. But they said, you made a couple good points on the streaming thing and how much it costs. But then I guess this event happened this week where the NFL partnered with some kind of other company, and they discontinued the Sunday NFL ticket over the airwaves, basically over satellite. You needed a satellite dish. And sort of kind of like the airwaves, of course. And the NFL ticket was around forever. I don't know, 20 years, who knows. And now it's gone to a streaming service only. And of course, let me guess, the price is probably gone up even more. And this listener said, you were right, Paulie, about all this stuff that's over the air. Not that that was free. It wasn't for free. But eventually all this will go to these streaming services. But this hit particularly hard for this particular listener because his buddy or a family member, somebody, owns a tavern, a sports bar in a small town, apparently. And now they can no longer have all the games, on different TVs throughout the whole bar. And they've got to go to a streaming service. And of course, maybe the costs are amplified, and maybe the streaming service, maybe the internet is not as fast or as good as the satellite. I don't know. But it caused a lot of angst for this person. And so they took the time to write me, and I thanked them for that. So they said, well, your predictions are starting to come true here, Paulie. So now we need another streaming service and another subscription and another thing. And it's just makes life really complicated. So I appreciate that listener writing me, and you can check out that streaming service rant podcast. So, I have a saying, I don't like being right. I don't like being right because sometimes it causes all these things. And oh my goodness. But anyway, so I had some fun in New Jersey. Despite the nature of the visit and everything, a little painful there, seeing dear mom not feeling well. But, I got to do some Jersey things. And there's truly no place like New Jersey. And I know people travel up and down the New Jersey Turnpike, and they maybe get on at Philly and they ride up through central Jersey and then get to the outskirts of Manhattan, maybe up to the Meadowlands, and they see the Kearney dumps and they see all this stuff, Port Bayonne and all this stuff along the Turnpike. And that's not really the real New Jersey. Of course, it's a part of New Jersey, but it's not the real New Jersey. In order to know the real New Jersey, I think I wrote in one of my books that New Jersey has everything. It has lakes, it has ponds, it has trout fishing, it has the shore, the ocean. It has all these fantastic things, but it has mobsters. It has the Kearney dumps. It has all these other things too. Huge, dirty, old urban areas. But that's what makes it so special. In the Garden State, you get off the beaten path. People used to make fun of me. They say, oh, the Garden State. No. We grow some amazing tomatoes. And here in Virginia, they prize these Hanover County tomatoes. And not getting into some kind of competition, just staying to my plant science horticultural training. It's too hot, too humid, and too dry here in central Virginia to produce a luscious tomato like they can in Warren County, Morris County, even Passaic County, Sussex, in Jersey. The temperatures and the climate in New Jersey is absolutely perfect for raising tomatoes. And Campbell Soup relocated to New Jersey for a reason. They wanted to assist in perfecting the Jersey tomato with New Jersey agriculture, I think, which became Rutgers. At any rate, tomatoes ripen at night, and when it stays really, really hot at night, like it does here in central Virginia, and really, really humid, hey, Hanover tomatoes are good, but they're not a Jersey tomato. You ride out to Warren County on a beautiful, beautiful summer afternoon in August, and you ride out there, and there's little roadside stands, and people have their tomatoes and their corn and their peppers and their summer crops are at the peak there, and you pick up a luscious beefsteak tomato there. It's like nothing you will ever experience. So people don't know the real New Jersey. So I had a couple Jersey experiences I want to share, and one of them was our house back in Hamilton. I call it an amusement park. So it was my great niece's birthday party, and my niece got bouncy house, and we set up a swimming pool, and we had all these things going on. And they're like, Uncle Paulie, can you help us with the bouncy house? I thought they got this little bouncy house thing. It's like you get at the amusement park. They bought it used. It's unbelievable how big it is. We got that thing all set up, and then a thunderstorm came in, and we had to scramble and get it back in the garage. And I worked on the swimming pool, got that fixed. We had some leaks in the pool and just fun stuff. And so one night we decided we wanted Italian. And there we go in another Jersey thing, Jersey pizza. Oh, my goodness gracious. It was so good to get home and enjoy some Jersey pizza. Oh, it's like nothing else. So I'm going to do my 5 best pizza joints in New Jersey one of these days. But in Hamilton there, we got a very heavy Italian American community there. A lot of pizza joints, a lot of Italian joints. It's a beautiful little downtown area. It's a lovely little town. So my sister has tried every pizza joint around, and she settled on this place called Corrado's. So shout out to Corrado's in Hamilton, New Jersey. Fantastic place. So everybody wanted Italian food, but not everybody wanted pizza. Paulie wanted pizza. My sister wanted pizza. My oldest niece, she wanted a white pizza. So we got some cheesesteaks going on. My dear mom likes their codfish sandwich. We've got chicken fingers. We got all this big order, and we call it in. And my sister says, let's schlep over there to Corrado's. It's only a few blocks from the house. And we jump in the car and we ride over there. And it's only a small little place. There's there's 2 tables. It's not really a dine-in joint. It's more of a takeout joint. And we park in this little parking lot there. And my sister says, oh, you're going to love this place, Paulie. So we walk in there. And it's got the 2 guys on the right-hand side, like the forward watch guys. And my sister says hello to them, and they just kind of nod, and they're checking me out. I have on a New York Jets t-shirt. And that's something I want to talk about Jersey. Jersey is very geographical. And there was a guy on the social media about 2 or 3 months ago. In fact, I think I mentioned it to the great Jeff, the musical wizard, when we solve all the problems of the world early in the morning one day. I was ranting about it because, they have these things on social media where they take the state, whatever the state is, and they make little color blobs, and they say, oh, this is part of New York. This is hillbilly country. These are people that can't drive, this kind of stuff. This has lousy food, whatever. And this guy made this thing about Jersey, who was obviously not a New Jersey guy. He didn't know anything about New Jersey. It was just clickbait stuff because it was totally wrong. But one thing about Jersey, it's very geographical with sports. Now, growing up in Patterson in the northern part of the state, I feel biased, of course, because I love the state of New Jersey. But my goodness, the sports scene, right? I mean, you have Jets, Giants, Rangers, Devils, Islanders, Nets, Knicks. It's unbelievable what the sports that you got going on there, between the New York City influence, and I could go on with all the other teams, but it's fantastic sports scene, the music scene. I mean, Springsteen, I saw Springsteen in the Meadowlands, and you could go into the city and all the concerts, and you got a little influence of Connecticut there. So you got the rivalry with the Boston teams. You got a little smattering upstate New York coming down with Buffalo Sabres and the Buffalo Bills harassing us. And to the south, you got the Eagles, you got the Sixers, you got the Flyers, and you have that, Philadelphia influence too. So, and the Phillies, of course. And you got the Mets and the Yankees and all the baseball stuff. It's just amazing area to to grow up in. But geographically, sports, I'm just going to talk about sports right quick. It's very divided. In the northern part of the state, it's all aligned with pretty much the New York City teams, Jets, Giants, Yankees, Mets. And the New Jersey Devils have a big following there in hockey. Not so much Islanders. Islanders are out there on the island. There's a few Islander fans, but not too many. So, but then you get to the central Jersey, and it's a little mixture. Jersey Shore, you never know what you get with down the shore. There's a lot of Giants fans, a lot of Jets fans, but you never know. It's a hodgepodge. But you get kind of past that midpoint of central Jersey, and it's heavily aligned with Philly. And it's Flyers, Eagles, Sixers, and Phillies. And the stations you get there primarily come out of Philadelphia, radio-wise and television-wise. News is Philadelphia news. So you get that heavy influence. So I walk into the pizza joint, and two of the guys are sitting there studying me because I got the Jets thing going, you know? And I look over and I nod. My sister's nice, and she asked one of the fellas, is Corrado here? And they're like, no, he's off today. And they're giving me kind of the evil eye here, studying me. My sister's a regular. And there's two young girls, gals working behind the counter there. My sister says, oh, order for Dottie. It's a big order. And blah, blah, blah. It was like $190 of food. It was unbelievable how much food we had. And these guys are still giving me an evil eye. It reminded me of my books with Sal Zucchini. And Sal Zucchini's the mobster with the heart of gold, and he's always got his henchmen in his store that he sells pools and tools. You can read the books. So these two guys on the store looking at me, and I realize one of the guys has a Philadelphia Eagle cap on, hat, baseball cap. And I know he spotted the Jet thing here, you see. And he heard the accent. My accent is completely different than the Southern Jersey accent because they tend to be a little bit more like Philly with the home and the phone and that kind of thing. Whereas we're more dog and here, let me set this right away. There is no one in New Jersey, South, Central, Shore, North, whatever. We don't say Jersey. I don't know where that comes from. It may be over in Brooklyn. People say Jersey, and I don't think they say that anymore, but that's not somebody from New Jersey. In all my years, I've never heard a New Jersey native speaker from wherever in the state say Jersey. Nobody says Jersey. So I don't know where that comes from. So I set that straight. Anyway, these guys are looking at me. Now, there are fervent sports fans in all sports. My cousin's over in England rooting for Nottingham Forest in the Premier League and legendary pub battles, and my grandfather used to say we always even the score with the club that we lost to. We just set the stands on fire. And you got the Oakland Raiders fans, you got the Buffalo Bills with the Bills Mafia, you know, New York Yankees with the bleacher creatures. You can go on and on, but Eagle fans. They are something special. Philadelphia is something special when it comes to sports. They go all out, Flyers and the Sixers, and it's just a magical sports. So this guy's giving me an evil eye. So the young gal behind there, she gives my sister a bunch of stuff, and we're trying to divide it up. And she says, oh, you get 2 free sodas. You can pick out a soda. I don't know nothing about soda. Paulie doesn't drink soda. So I say to my sister, well, what do you want? And the cooler's right next to me. And she said, I don't know. Just pick what you want. I said, I don't drink soda. I don't know what soda you want. Just tell me what soda you want. And she's pointing. And I said, I just don't know. And the guy with the Philadelphia Eagles hat, he looks at me. He says, obviously, you don't know nothing. I look at him and I smile because I know what's coming next. I said, yeah, I don't know nothing. I have a New York Jets t-shirt on, so obviously I don't know nothing. He says, you don't even know what team to root for. So I said, you got me good. You got me good on that one, yeah. And he's just having fun. So we get all of our stuff and we load our stuff in the back of the car and we're going to pull out of the parking lot. And there's a guy who drops a person off to pick up a pizza or whatever. And it's a little side street. This guy comes down the street. And the guy who dropped the person off is waving to him, and he says, hey, Joe, or whatever. I don't know. He says, I got to tell. And Joe rolls down his window. He's waiting for the red light. This is right in the main street there. He says, I went to the restaurant last night, and it was terrible. It was absolutely awful. I had terrible service. The server wasn't paying attention to me. He says, oh, no kidding. I'm so sorry. And he's like, yeah. And then he launches into a stream of obscenities about the service he got in this restaurant, which I imagine the guy in the car was an owner or some manager or something with this restaurant. And this is going on, this shouting match, while my sister and I are getting in the car. And they're going on and on. Then the light turns green and everybody's getting angry. He says, it's no problem. You come by, I'll buy you a couple free beers. It's okay. I'll take care of you. And then he pulls off. And I thought to myself, yeah, man, I am back home. I am absolutely back home. And the guy in the parking lot's like, okay, yeah, that's good. A couple free beers, we're even. So that's all it took. And to even the score was a couple free beers. So I just felt like, wow, yeah, man, I'm really back home. These things don't happen except anywhere in New Jersey. And it really made me feel good. And it was magical pizza. Oh, my goodness. Shout out to Corrado's and the guy who gave me a good one because I had my Jets T-shirt on there. You guys, just fantastic pizza, and I congratulate you. It was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So as the conversations went on, and more and more beer got consumed, and my sister drinks a little wine, and Mom was feeling a little bit better, and she came out and enjoyed her sandwich. People always talk about Paulie adventures, Uncle Paul adventures. And inevitably, because I was back home, the conversation went to my travels and all the places and how happy I was to be back in Jersey. And I think it was my oldest niece. And she said, Uncle Paul, you've been all over the place and you've done all these things and everything. And being back here, you like Hamilton. I said, I love Hamilton. It's fantastic. She said, what is your favorite places in New Jersey? And that kind of sparked this podcast. So when I got back here in Central Virginia and back to the Writing Command Center, got mountains of laundry to do and all my chores and all these things that I skipped while I was away, catching up on my primary source of income. So I made a list of what I told my family over the pizza and what my favorite places are. So this could be a rated, and that's a long introduction, folks, to a to a rated series. I could go on and I could do 100 podcasts on New Jersey. So let me get my papers here, and I made these lists. And like I said, don't discount New Jersey. Mountains, lakes, mobsters, trout fishing, hunting, sports, the Meadowlands, theater, Newark. Downtown Newark is revitalized. Got the Rock there, the Prudential Arena where the Devils play. Music scene. It's just fantastic. And I hope as my situation changes and my career changes a little bit as I'm getting older now, that I can spend more time back in the place that I truly love. And so let me get my little list here, and I'm going to run through and hopefully inspire some folks to maybe pay a visit to the Garden State, New Jersey. So keeping consistent in our rated series, we always go 5 to 1, with 5 being fantastic and number 1 being supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, fantastic, off the chain, great. And we always have a couple little on mentions there. So here we go. So my on mention of the 5 best places that Paulie likes to visit in the state of New Jersey would be, I'm going to do this / Point Pleasant Beach / Asbury Park. Now, this is called going down the shore. When you're in northern New Jersey, everybody goes down the shore, or it's just called the shore, Jersey Shore. And the Jersey Shore is a special place. Boardwalks, amusements, music scene, all these things going on. And there's various stops along the way. I encourage you just to get a map out and just look down the Jersey Shore. And I've been all over the place. I've been to different beaches. I'm not a beach guy. I'm not an ocean guy. 1 hour or two on the sand in the ocean and the water is good enough for me. But there's something just utterly magical about the Jersey Shore. And Harry, if you read the adventures of Harry and Paul in the books, a number of the adventures do take place at the shore. And my sister, my brother-in-law Tony, her husband, they spent a lot of time at Seaside Heights, the legendary Seaside Heights. It's not like it is in that show, folks. But for me and Harry, too, Point Pleasant / Asbury. And our favorite spot, and Point Pleasant is south of Asbury. It's a few stops. I think you got Bradley Beach in there, Ocean Grove, Avon by the Sea, a couple between Asbury before you get to Point Pleasant. But for Harry and I, we used to hang out at the Tiki Bar, the legendary Tiki Bar, Jenkinson's Pier in Point Pleasant. And I know Hurricane Sandy really hit I think the original Tiki Bar was washed away and it's been rebuilt. But Jenkinson's Pier has amusements. It's not as large as you see down there at Seaside or at Wildwood, but it's a fantastic little amusement center there. And they have great restaurants. And the Tiki Bar is something special. I have a hat hanging right here on a hook in front of me from the Tiki Bar at Point Pleasant Beach in New Jersey. And Asbury, of course, what more can you say about Asbury? For Harry and I, music fans, of course, Springsteen, Stone Mahoney, Southside Johnny, and the Asbury Jukes, and the whole music scene going on up there in Asbury. Jackson Brown, we saw Jackson Brown hanging out there. I think even Billy Joel wandered by. And all these different bands and the music scene in Asbury. And Asbury has a nice boardwalk. Asbury might have been the first real amusement stop. It's one of the first major beaches you get to as you come down the Parkway, so it's easy to get to. You don't have to fight mountains of traffic. Nice amusement park and the Tunnel of Love, the famous Springsteen song and that famous video film there at Asbury when he walks by the merry-go-round, and just magical places. And just to go there for the history, just to go there for the experience, the Asbury Park Convention Center, the Convention Hall, all these historic, wonderful places. So that's my on mention, we're going to do a / Point Pleasant / Asbury Park. Number 5 is Liberty State Park. Now, Liberty State Park, of course, the Statue of Liberty. And geographically, I think the Statue of Liberty falls within New Jersey boundaries in the river, but it's kind of shared. And people say it's part of New York, but I think territorial, it's really part of New Jersey. But it's served by both. And you can, it's actually closer to, the statue is closer to New Jersey than it is to Manhattan side. So you can go to Liberty State Park and just see all these fantastic things. And me as a photographer, I've got to go back there. I just have to go back there. It's been too long. I would say the last time I was at Liberty State Park, which is actually in Jersey City, I believe. I'm doing this from memory, folks. I believe it's on Communipaw Ave. And New Jersey Transit will take you right there. It's one of the stops. And there is a parking lot there. And, of course, Ellis Island is out there, too. So all this history, my English side of my family came through Ellis Island there. So all this history there. But you walk along the promenade at Liberty State Park, and it's just amazing. The river's there, the statue's there. You take the ferry at Battery. And for me as a photographer, oh, my gosh, I went, and I haven't been there, I would say 1980. 1 or 82 was my last visit to Liberty State Park. And I was into photography back then, but I didn't have the array of cameras I have now. So that's a must do for Paulie to get back to Liberty State Park, particularly at night when the New York City skyline is lit up. Just magical. The views are beyond belief. I mean, this is New York City, the greatest city in the world. And of course, all the history there. and a promenade walk along the river is magical. So that's Paulie's number 5 is Liberty State Park in Jersey City on the Jersey side. Number 4 is Ringwood State Park in Ringwood, New Jersey, which will be up in the Ramapo Mountains, probably about, I'm going to guess 40 miles northwest of New York City. And that's the magical thing. You can come through Bergen County, which is more congested than any place on earth, I think, except for Bombay, India. You go through the Route 4 and all these congested urban areas as you make your way from the GW Bridge, and then you transition to Route 208, and you make your way up through Hawthorne, and you get to Franklin Lakes, and you get to Oakland, and you start to get to more and more rural areas. And then you would go to the end of Route 208 up the fantastic Skyline Drive, which is like a mountain of, if your car has a weak engine, you're not making it over Skyline Drive, and you're not making it down the other side with bad brakes. And so Ringwood is up there by West Milford at the top. And they have this fantastic state park up there, Ringwood Manor, which was built for some kind of big, I don't know if it was steel or some kind of mill operator, all kinds of money and fantastic architecture on that. The New Jersey Botanical Gardens, Skyline Manor is there. And Shepherd's Lake. Shepherd's Lake is just one of the most scenic, beautiful lakes. It's got trout fishing there. I think it's Thunder Mountain, maybe, Shepherd's Lake, at any rate. There's a sledding trail there. Harry and I used to take, or as we called it, sleigh riding, but that's a whole different story. But there's a trail there. I think they shut it down because of too many accidents, and you can go into the lake accidentally. And there's an old ski resort. There used to be a ski resort up there. And I've not been there for many years, but you used to be able to see the old ski lifts and the rope tows and everything up that side of that mountain there at Shepherd's Lake. And for me, as a ham radio operator, I used to do a lot of ham radio portable operations right there at Ringwood State Park. And the botanical gardens are fantastic and beautiful flowers and just walking trails. This is New Jersey. This is the real New Jersey. This is the New Jersey that people don't know about. Check it out. Ringwood State Park, beautiful. So that's number 4 on Paulie's best list. At number 3, I wanted to do a slash with this one, with the Delaware Water Gap and the Great High Point State Park. And I spent a lot of time at High Point State Park, a lot of time there. And my sister and Tony did too. My sister was telling stories about when they used to bike ride up there. They had more leg power than I did. It's 1,803 feet above sea level. I looked it up. But I used to go up to High Point with my radios to obviously get high in the air and make contacts. And they have a fantastic monument up there, which is dedicated to veterans. And the Appalachian Trail comes in there, and that's in Sussex. I think that's Wantage Township, if I remember correctly. Route 23 goes up that way. But I decided to go with number 3 being the Delaware Water Gap. Now, when you're at High Point, you can see 3 states. You can see, obviously, Jersey, New York to your north, and Pennsylvania to your west. But the Delaware Water Gap, there's a couple absolute easy hikes there, and breathtaking. It's like canyons, absolute canyons down to the Delaware River. And Harry and I used to shad fish. There were shad that would run in the early spring, and there's shad camps along the Delaware River. And we would catch shad there. And then we would hike up into those mountains. And it's like looking at it. You would think you're in the west of the United States. That's how deep these canyons and the river and the mountains and the gorges are. It's just absolutely breathtaking. I recommend the Delaware Water Gap at any time of the year, but especially at the fall of the year. And take one of these hikes. There's many trails. There's a lot of guides there. And oh my goodness gracious, the fall foliage and the views there, it's just absolutely amazing. It's like going into another world. It really is. And with my cameras, I would not. I was just looking at a couple shots I took many years ago of the water gap, and it's just absolutely astounding that people travel all over the world for this breathtaking scenery, and what we have here in America, even in a place like New Jersey, underrated because people just see the New Jersey Turnpike. It's just, why are you traveling to Iceland? What we have here in America is breathtaking. And the Delaware Water Gap is a place that I highly recommend. And if you can go in the fall of the year when the foliage is changing, it's just absolutely remarkable. And you can venture down if you wanted to. You would be on the Sussex side, the Warren County side there in Jersey, and the Pocono side, and upper Bucks County in Pennsylvania. And if you want to cross over and go down to like New Hope in Pennsylvania and check out New Hope in Bucks County, this is just gorgeous stuff. They have the old New Hope and Ivyland Railroad that goes through there. And so that is number 3 on the rated series, the Delaware Water Gap. Any time of the year, but Paulie highly recommends the autumn. Number 2 is near and dear to my heart. It is the Great Falls of the Passaic River in good old Paterson, New Jersey. Yeah. And for me, when during the Obama administration, they declared the Great Falls as a national park. It's a United States national park, and they have park rangers there, and they did a big renovation there. And for me, this was something that I just couldn't even imagine, because I grew up right there until we moved to the borough of Halden. We grew up, my sister and I grew up, my cousin David wasn't too far away either from the falls. But I was on Wayne Ave. I want to say it's 52 Wayne Avenue. And Hinchcliffe Stadium was in our backyard. I used to play baseball games there, and they would have midget car racing, and they'd have fireworks there over the falls. But the falls was literally in our backyard. I could walk out of my backyard, I was only a little squirt, and wander over there to the falls. And they'd have the Falls Festival during the summer, and there's a bridge that goes over. I think there's been a number of bridges that have gone over the falls. And one of those circus guys, there is so much history here of the Great Falls of the Passaic River that it's mind-boggling. And for me to imagine that I was a little boy there growing up, and now it's a national park with park rangers and everything. And it almost brings tears to my eyes. And I would go over there and play, and during the spring, when the snow melt came, and the river, if there was a lot of storms, whatever the case may be, but the snow melt would cause the river to run high, and the falls would be thundering, just thundering. I could lay in my bed and hear the thunder of the Great Falls. You could walk outside and taste the river water in your mouth in the air. And the bridge, I think there was one of those circus guys, he walked across the bridge on one of those tight ropes. A number of people went over the falls in those barrels and stuff. And you can look all this history up. And for me, part of my family, my cousin Diane just shared with the family that our grandfather, my grandpa Hausleben, Paul William Hausleben, would go swimming down at the base of the falls in the chasms. I can't imagine that. It's kind of rough down there, but he must have been a great swimmer. But and then it's the first industrial planned city in America by Alexander Hamilton, Paterson, New Jersey, and it was built around the hydroelectric power of the Great Falls. And down, I can remember going as a little boy, walking down past the falls, and my mother would say, "Don't wander, don't wander, don't wander." But I knew I was going. And Libby's Lunch is right there. McBride Avenue, Wayne Avenue, and then it transitions down into the historic mill district of the falls, where and the water would go in these wooden troughs in these raceways, and they'd go to the mills, the factories, the silk factories, the fabric, and turn these water wheels and turn the power for the looms and all this. And I can remember as a little boy in a hot summer day walking down there, and they'd have the windows open in these factories, and you could see all the people working at these machines, and no air conditioning. And there ain't no air conditioning in these mills, and it does get hot and humid in northern New Jersey in the summer, and they're using the water power from the falls. And for a little guy like me, who was always fascinated with electricity and mechanical things, I'd stand there just staring for hours, watching all these machines till a maintenance guy or the security guy would chase me away and wander down there. The Colt factory is there. The Colt revolver was built down there by the falls. You had the Rogers locomotives work. There's a big giant locomotive down there. Amazing stuff, just amazing. And for me to think that this was a part of my life as a little boy, and now it's this historic site, it's just amazing. And it's in an urban area, folks. It's not a nice neighborhood. To quote dear mom when I was a little boy, don't wander. But it's perfectly safe around the park. And there's ample parking there. And during the construction, I went back, when they were constructing it to make it into a National Historic Site, a part of the Park Service. I want to say it was 2014. And I had all my cameras with me because my folks, my dad was still alive. They lived up in Sussex County, moved out of the city of Paterson. And of course, I could walk these streets blindfolded. And I got down into the parking lot of the falls, and I set up my camera, and a park ranger came out. And the park ranger is like, this is construction, sir. I said, hey, I grew up here. And I told him the whole story, and he's like, okay, what do you, I said, I just want to take a couple shots of the falls. And they got a beautiful American flag. He said, well, don't go any farther than that fence over there. I said, that's a deal, pal. In New Jersey, you make deals. So I set up my tripod, and I shot about 50 shots of the falls. And unfortunately, the water was a little low going over the falls. It's 77-foot waterfall, 77 feet. But I got a couple magical shots. I got a beautiful, beautiful shot. And someday I'll post those shots, one of my best-selling shots, and I'm very proud of it. And that was a wonderful moment in my photography career, as well as in my life, to see this amazing landmark that was a part of all of our lives growing up in that neighborhood now become this national park. And I had a copy of that. And in my traveling days when I lived in Atlanta, there was a guy who owned he was from Jersey, and he owned this joint called the Hoboken Cafe. And he opened it. I want to say it's in Marietta. I think Liddy and Steve and I went there. And we were talking about Jersey. And he has all this memorabilia on the wall. He's got Sinatra, he's got the Yankees. He's got sites of all over New Jersey, the shore. And I showed him a picture of the falls, which I had on my phone. And he said to me, I want that picture for my restaurant. He says, I'll give you $500 for it right now. I said, no, it's not for sale. That's a near and dear shot. I said, I'll give you some of the lesser shots. He said, no, I want that one with the flag. I said, it's not for sale. He says, I'll give you $1,000. I said, no, it's not for sale. I want to keep that copyright. I want to keep that print for myself. So the Great Falls of Paterson, New Jersey is number 2. And number 1, if I had a drum, I'd do a drum roll, but I don't, is Cape May, Wildwood. So I'm going to say Cape May / Wildwood, New Jersey. And wow, Cape May will blow your mind. It's like a trip to the past. The Victorian houses, the downtown, the beautiful restaurants, the stores. You're going to spend a lot of money here, folks. You are going to spend a lot of money. The hotels, the whole scene. You've got the Cape May Lighthouse. You can take the the ferry, the Cape May ferry over to Lewis, Delaware, where there's no sales tax, and do some shopping. Got the sunken ship out there in the beach and all these magical sights. You can rent bicycles and ride up and down all these just clean, amazing streets. You got the Coast Guard basic training right there at Cape May and the Coasties. All the recruits on during boot camp, they'll be jogging around doing their cadence. And it's just, like I said, a trip back to time. And then Wildwood a little bit north of that, you got North Wildwood, you got the Wildwoods, but Wildwood collectively with the boardwalk. And for you Jersey people and people who are at Wildwood, I'm going to do the best I can here now. Bear with me. Watch the tram car, please. Watch the tram car. Bop, 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 bop. Watch the tram car, please. That famous tram car going up and down the boardwalk. Fantastic amusements, every kind of amusement you want. There used to be the Great White. I wrote a famous, humorous short story about there used to be this pedal duck ride where you pedaled these ducks around on this railroad. A famous Paulie story. They had a bungee jump. I jumped off the bungee guy. And it's just hotels and beautiful resorts and beautiful little buildings. And the beach there, like I said, Paulie's been all over. I'm not a beach guy, but I've been to LA. I've been to San Diego beaches. I've never been to Hawaii. I've been to Florida, both sides, Gulf Coast, Atlantic Coast, the Outer Banks, all these different places. I will put the beach, the sand, the vibe, the weather of Wildwood / Cape May up against any beach in America. Beautiful. You can wade out a long way and still see your feet. It's clean. The water's usually not cold. It's not rough. It's just an amazing place. And I've got to go back to Wildwood. I just have to go back to Wildwood, Cape May. I worked with a guy who did a lot of construction. He was telling me about this, and I wish I had written it down and knew better. This famous hotel that he did these renovations was an old historic hotel in Cape May, probably from the early 1900s. And he was telling me how the plumbing had salt water and fresh water in this swanky old hotel. So people could take a bath in the salt water, which I guess they felt was therapeutic, but how it rotted the pipes because of the corrosive of the salt. And some of the fixtures were actually pure gold in this facility. So great history. Just get on the internet and take a look at some of the pictures. They're not exaggerated. They're not retouched. They're not AI. Cape May really is that beautiful. It really is. And just make sure you bring your wallet and a lot of credit cards with a lot of high limits, because you're going to spend a good amount of money there. Totally worth it. You'll remember your visit to Cape May for the rest of your life. It's just a great place. And rent one of those bicycles and just go around. They got a bicycle built for two and all these little bike tours. And you have the trolleys, if that's more of your thing, where you pedal them with your partner. And it's just amazing. And I just love it. So that's number one, is Cape May / Wildwood, New Jersey. So a quick recap, because I rambled a lot here. So honorable mention is Point Pleasant / Asbury. Number 5 is Liberty State Park. Number 4 is Ringwood State Park. Number 3 is the Delaware Water Gap. Number 2 is the Great Falls of the Passaic River in Paterson, New Jersey. And number 1 is Cape May / Wildwood. So, hey, what do I know? I'm just a guy from Paterson, New Jersey. So I certainly hope that I inspired you to visit the great state of New Jersey. Or my terrible accent, you need a New Jersey translator to get through, because I've been home for a little while. Hey, please be kind, be gentle, be very tolerant. Remember, kindness is for free. Spread it around as much as you can. It can only make this world a better place. And upcoming podcasts, we're very excited. We have Jeff, the musical wizard, going to come on here. And Jeff, he hasn't given me an official title, but when I checked in with him this week, he said he's got his final selections. For lack of a better word, it's going to be studio albums or albums, recordings that deserve more attention. And I'll let Jeff expand upon the exact title. We've got Cousin Jack, who traveled this week too. We got to make the connection, and Cousin Jack's all hyped up about the new UFO files that were recently released, and he's going to talk about conspiracy theories. So we're very excited about that. And we're going to get Frankie T back here, talk some more NHL and some more music, and a rated series on Nicole Atkins. Nicole Atkins. I have been dissecting her music, a Jersey girl, coincidence, and it has been a wonderful experience for me. I'm just captivated by this young woman's songwriting abilities as well as her voice. I am going to do a rated series on Nicole Atkins. So that is coming up. Hey, we really appreciate you tuning in for this podcast episode, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye for now. Thank you so much.